Welcome back to the second edition of this JavaScript training. So in this video, we are going to be starting with the JavaScript operators. So there are some of the JavaScript operators that we'll be talking about today is the arithmetic operators, the comparison operators, the logical operators. So these are some of the operators that we'll be looking into. So these are not the only operators, as we have other operators like the bitwise operators and so many other operators like the assignment operator and so on. If you go to tutorialpoint.com /JavaScript, you are going to see all the content of this video, or you can also visit w3schools.com to find it out, as well as the Mozilla Developer Network. So that's where I'll be taking my points from. So we're going to be starting first with the assignment operators. So the assignment operators, what they do is that they assign a value to a variable or a constant or whatever thing that you want to construct. They assign a value to them, and we have been doing them since we introduced the variables. Okay, so let age be 23. So this is assignment operation because we have this equality sign here. So this equality sign is used to assign a value to this variable called age, and the value is 23. And if we eventually call on this variable, we are going to have the 23. Let's use document.write method. So document.write age. This is going to give us 23. So this is because we are actually assigning 23 to this age. So that's assignment operator. So for the arithmetic operators, what we use them to do is basic mathematical calculations. So when we want to do any mathematical calculations, we have to use the arithmetic operators. So some of the arithmetic operators are the plus, minus, multiplication, the modulus, the increment operator, decrement operator, division, and exponential, and so on. So these are some of the arithmetic operators. So let's do some arithmetic operation here. So let's have 23 plus 34. This is going to give us 57, as you can see here. So this is the addition operation or addition operator. This plus sign is addition. So there are so many ways that we can actually do this. So we can say that age is 23, and we can come down here and say age plus equal to 4. So age plus equal to 4. So age plus equal to 4. So this is going to add 4 to 23. So this is the same thing as this. This is the same thing as this age plus 4. So this is the same thing as this. So take note of this. So age plus equal to 4 is the same thing as age plus 4. So that's why we are having 27. We can do this same thing with minus. We can do this same thing with minus. So let me comment this out, and let's have 23 minus 4. So this is going to give us 19, as you can see here. We can also do it the same way as we did here. So we can also do it the same way as we did here. We can do age minus equal to 4, and this is going to give us 19, because 23 minus 4 is actually 19. So this is the same thing as this. So age minus 4 is the same thing as age minus equal to 4. So it's the same thing. Okay, so that's the minus operator. So let's look at the multiplication operator. So for the multiplication operator, we use the asterisk. So let's say 23 times 2, which is going to give us 46. And that's just it. So we can also do 2 raised to power 2. For the raised to power, is going to be double asterisk. So it's going to give us 4. Because 2 raised to the power of 2 is 4. 2 raised to the power of 4 is going to be 16. That's 2 times 2, 4 times 2. So it's going to be something like this. 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. So 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. So 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. 4 times 2 is 8. And then 8 times 2 is 16. So that's 16 here. We can also have 16 modulus. So I'm just trying to be as quickly as possible, as fast as possible. So 16 modulus 2, which is going to give us 0. So this is the remainder is going to be 0. Let's also do this. 3 is going to give us 1. Yeah, 1. So this is 3 divided by 16 is going to give us 15 remainder 1. So that remainder 1 is here. So this modulus operator is used to find the remainder of a value. So it is just like a remainder of a value. So let's say 17 modulus 3 is going to give us 2, because the closest number that 3 can divide is 15. So 3 can divide 15 to give us 5 with a remainder of 2. So that remainder is this 2 we have here. Okay, so let's have 21 modulus 3 is going to give us 0, because 3 divided by 21 is going to give us 7, remainder 0. So, but if we do 23, it's going to give us 2, because 21 is the closest number it can divide, and 21 minus 23 is going to give us 2. So that's the remainder 2. So that's what the modulus operators can do. And so many other operators that we have there, like the increment operator and so on. So let's just do increment operator at the moment before we leave the arithmetic operator. So we can actually do age equal to plus 1. So we can do this like this. Oh, sorry, age plus. So let's do it here instead. Let me remove this from here and do this here. Age plus plus. Okay. um, okay, so we can increment this by just appending plus plus to it. So this is going to give us 24 because we are incrementing it by 1. We can also decrement it by using minus minus, sorry, minus minus is going to give us 22 here because this is decrement operator. So decrement decreases the value by 1 while increment increases the value by 1. That's just what increment and decrement operators do. So let's look into the comparison operator. So the comparison operator, what we use it to do is we use it to compare between two values. We use it to compare between two values, two or more values actually, not two values. So let's have the increment operators can be the less than, then greater than, then the equally equals, and then strictly equals, and then uh, not equals, not equals, and then not strictly equal. We also have the less than or equal to, which is like this, less than or equal to, and greater than or equal to. Okay, so these are some of the operators, some of the comparison operators. So you use it to compare between two or more values. So let's say, for example, we have age, or rather, let's have student. Let student 1 be 45, and let student 2, sorry, student 2 be equal to, be assigned to 34, not equal to, sorry. And we want to do some comparison here. So let's say, let's find out which value is greater than each other. So we can actually say that student 1 is greater than student 2. So this is going to give us true. So this is giving us true because arithmetic comparison operators always return true or false. What they actually do is that they return Boolean values. Remember what we said on the first lesson. We said that Boolean values are true and false. So they return only true and false, or 1 and 0. That's if you want to do a strict conversion of the data type. But take note of this thing, that what comparison operators returns is Boolean. It either returns true or it returns false. So here we have student 1 as 45 and we have student 2 as 34. And we actually know that 45 is greater than 34. That's why this is returning true. So, but in the case that we are referring to, maybe we now refer to student, student 2 is greater than student 1. In this case, it's going to return false because student 2 is actually less than student 1. So this is what comparison operator can do. Okay, now we can also use is greater than or equal to. So student 2 is less than and not even equal to. So if we do this, it's still going to return um, um, it's still going to return false for us. So let's do that. is greater than or equal to student 1 is still going to return false. It's still going to return false. So this is like this. This is like this. So this is going to still return false to us. And this is because 34 is not equal to 45, and also it is not greater. But if we use less than or equal to, this is going to return true because it is less than 45. Okay, so that's what this is all about. And we can also use the equality sign. This is equality sign is going to return false. Now let me show you one thing here. Let's wrap this in quote and as well wrap this in quote, and you are going to see that it is also returning false. And it is returning false because the values are different. The values are different. But let's say we have something like this, 4 and 5, and we have 4 and 5 here. It's going to return true. But if we, okay, it's returning true because the values of the data are actually the same. So we will have true. So let's give this 45 and give this 45. Now you can see it is also returning true, even though this 45 here is not actually representing 45 because this is a string data type, whereas this is a number data type, or what we can call integer data type. So, but you can still see that this is still returning true. And this is because we are actually looking for comparison between them. We are not looking at the strict value. So if we want to get the strict value, we use 3 equality sign. In this case, it's going to return false. So this time around, the strict version, we look into the data type and make sure that the two data types are equal, and then the values of the data are also equal. So that is what the strict value does. But for the equality version of it, the equality version of it only looks at the figures there and find out if the figures are the same. So as you can see, the 45 in word and 45 in number are the same value. So it will return true. But when you use the triple equality sign, it is going to return a strict value, which is going to consider the data types too. So that is what the difference between the double equality sign and the triple equality sign. So the double equality sign means equal to, whereas the triple equality sign means strictly equal to. So that's the difference. Okay, another one is the not equal to. Not equal to. So this is not equal to. So when you look at this, it is telling us that this is false because actually 45 here is not equal to 45. So what not equal to does is that it converts it and returns the opposite value. The opposite value. So let's say this is 45 now. Watch and see, it is going to return false because we are actually telling it that this not equal to this, that 45 is not equal to 45, which is a false value. You understand? The easiest way you can understand this is that 45 is actually equal to 45, which is supposed to return true. Okay, but we are now saying that 45 is not equal to 45, which is a lie, which is a false value. So it's going to return false. So in the easiest way is that it returns the negative value. So if this is false now, it is going to return true. So let's say 41. which is 41 is not equal to 45. So when we say that 41 is not equal to 45, that is going to give us um, a true answer. Okay, so whenever you are doing this, just try to, whenever you are using the not equal to, always know that it returns the opposite value. Okay, it returns the opposite value. That's what the not equal to is. Let's wrap this in quote and see if it will still return true. Okay, so let's see if we add one more equals, it will still return true. Now this is the logical um, comparison operator, although we use it for comparison, but it is a logical comparison operator. We still see it under the logical operators, which we are going to also look into later on. So to find out more about this, you can actually go to the W3 School and look for the different operators on JavaScript. So these are so many operators, like I told you: the addition operator, the subtraction operator, multiplication operator, exponential operator, division, modulus, increment, and decrement. Then here, if you come down here, you see the other version of it, which I told you that this is the same thing as this. Having this is the same thing as this. So this is just it. Okay, so this is comparison operator, equal to, strictly equal to, then not equal to, not equal value or not equal type, greater than, less than, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to. Then this is ternary operator. We still see ternary operator later on. There are other JavaScript operators like the bitwise operator and logical operator. So this is the logical and, the logical or, and the logical not. So we'll still see these ones later on. So the logical and compares the two values and return if one value is not um, uh, is uh, is not equal or is not the same as the other, it is going to return false. But the logical OR considers only one to be true. So, but this one considers the two values to be true. Okay, and then this is the not operator. We still use it later on, the type of instance and all this. So take your time, go through the W3 schools. You see so many things there. But what I will do for you is that I am going to just treat some of these things and make it easier for you to understand. All right, let's go into the next chapter. And the next part is we are going to be looking into the type conversion. Type conversion. So in type conversion, we use type conversion to convert from one data type to the other. So you can convert from the number type to a string type, or from string type to number type, or from Boolean to number, and so on. So we can actually convert from one data type to another. Okay, so that is the type conversion. Now we have two types of type conversion. We have the implicit type conversion and the explicit type conversion. We have seen implicit type conversion before now, where we can actually add some values to this and have that as a string. Let's just practice give one example on that type conversion. Okay, so we have num1 as string of 10 and num2 as string of 20. And if we want to print this thing out, we can do document dot write. Let's print num1 plus num2. So num1 plus num2. Now in this case, you are now seeing that what we have here is 10 plus 20, and this is returning 10, 20 in form of a string. So this is some of these things are what you have to take note. JavaScript does not add a space by default. So when you add a space like this, thinking that JavaScript will add a space, it will not. Let's even add more spaces. JavaScript is not actually seeing these spaces that you are adding here. So the only way we can do that is through what we call concatenation. Through what we call concatenation. So we can do that by adding spaces by default. So what I can do here is to come here and add my plus and then give my space. So here is another data, but an empty string that is going to give the space. And you can see now that we now have a space here. So this space is coming from this empty string. This is coming from this empty string. I'll give you what to do. So classwork. All right, so do this classwork within the next 3 minutes. So let me just give you a hint on how to do it. Create two variables as follows: day and time. So the day can be Monday, Tuesday to Thursday to Sunday. And then the town, you can pick any town of your choice and assign to the town variable. And then you are going to make a statement like this. It will rain in Onitsha on Monday, something like this. So do it, and you are going to add the spaces as well. All right, let's solve it. Pause the video and do the class work. Let's do this together. So to do it, let day be Tuesday, and let town be Abuja. Now let's print this thing out. Document dot write. So let's start with a string. It will rain in, so in, then comma, it will rain in town. So let's add some space and then comma and add the variable, which is town. It will rain in town, space, comma, and then add our space. And then it's going to be a string on, we will now separate with a comma again, and then add our empty string with a space, followed by day. So this is what we have, and you can see it will rain in Abuja on Tuesday. And this is giving us all the spaces that we desire. Now, take a very good look at what you wrote here. It will rain is on a different string and then separated with this space. Now without this space, we would have had this thing without a space. So if I should remove this, what we would have is in and Abuja together. So that's why we must have to put up this. There are other ways that we can concatenate. Instead of using the comma, we can actually make use of the plus symbol to also get that which we want. So to concatenate, we can still use plus symbol instead of the comma symbol to get to what we want. Okay, and finally we can also do this here, and you can still see we have the same thing, but the difference here is that there is no comma here, but we can still use this. So this is another way we can also join these things. But this is not the major thing that we want to do here. We want to do type conversion. All right, let's convert from, let's have, let num be 45, and then let's say document dot write num. So this is going to give us 45, and we know that 45 is a number. How do we know that 45 is a number? We can wrap 45 in type of. So let's type of. So type of function gives us that 45 is a number. Now, how do we now convert this 45 to a string? So let's do that. String, and we wrap this in string function. Once we wrap this in string function, 45 has been converted to a string. Remember that before now it gave us number, but now it is giving us a string, which means we have converted 45 into a string. We can also convert a string to number. So let's have an empty string like this. And this is going to give us string. All right. Let's convert it to a number. Let's convert it to a number by wrapping it in the number value. So to convert from a string to a number, we use this function parseInt. So parseInt is going to convert this to a number. We can also use parsefloat to convert to a float. Parsefloat to convert to a float number. Now remember that int and float are number, but int is integer value, that is values without remainder, whereas float is decimal values, which are values with remainder and all that. So for instance, let's remove the type of function from here and try to print the number again. You are going to see that since we converted this to a float, since we converted it to a float, it becomes a number. Okay, so because float and int are numbers, they are number variables. Okay, so we can use pass float and we can also use pass int. We can do the same thing for Boolean values. We can convert Boolean values to string and integer. So the Boolean value of false is, let's do this as pass int. It's going to give us none. So this is a type of data type which means not a number. So this is not a number. We can still do the true part of it. It will still give us not a number, which is this. To see more of this, you can go to the tutorial point and look for the type conversions here, and you can go through it and see for yourself. So these are type conversions, so you can just go through it. And so you see pass float to extract floating point numbers from string, pass int to extract integer from the string, and then plus, which is the unary operator, which we did under the concatenation values. So we can also convert other values to Boolean using the Boolean functions. So these are examples, some of the examples that you can actually use to do that. So because of time, we are going over to functions. Let's look at JavaScript functions. So what is a function? Just as the name is called function. Function is a block of code that only runs when you call it. Function has some parameters and some block of code which you want to run only when the function is called. Function is a very important aspect of programming because anything that your program will do is a function, and it should come from a particular specified function. Now, how do we write function on JavaScript? Now, to write a function on JavaScript, we just mention the word function, and we use the bracket and the curly bracket. Now, the function, we have a name. So function with the name of the function. So let's call this say hi. So this is say hi function. So this is going to be a function. It only runs when the function is called. So let's use alert method to, and then say hi. So this, you can see that this alert is not working, it's not running. But if I extract this alert from here and try to run it outside the function, you will see it will say hi. But once it is within this function, it is not going to work until the name of this function is called. So let's call the name of the function, which is say hi, and immediately the function returns a value. So function only runs when the name of that function is called, just like we have here. So now let's look in deeper into what this function, how this function is structured. So this is the name of the function, and then this is the function keyword to tell JavaScript that this, whatever it finds here, is a function. And normally a function comes with this bracket. Anywhere you call a function, it must come with this bracket. This tells us that this is a function. Okay? A function and a method are similar, but we are going to see that of a method later on, because a method is a function which runs in an object. So it is also a function, but the difference is that this particular function is independent, but the method is dependent on the object. Okay? So let's look at this one. So let's have here we can have some parameters. Let's pass in name as the variable inside of this function, and let's concatenate hi and name. And here, if we want to call this function and we call the function with a value, so let's have a function with my name, my function as the name of the function, and we have this parameter here. Okay, so in fact, let's call this function sum to show that we want to sum whatever parameter we have within this place. So let's use return p1 plus p2, and let the result be, so we can take in any value within this function. So let's change this to sum, and then let's print it out with document dot write method. And what we want to write here is the result, and this is going to give us 7. And we can actually change the values here, and automatically the function knows what to do. We can also change the value here, and automatically the function knows what to do. So this is just to help us to return a value on every function. So functions help us to return a value whenever the function is called. If I didn't call this function, then nothing is going to happen. So let's take, for example, I remove the result, and if I call the function here with this sum, which we know is a function, if I call it without the bracket, it's going to return all the content of the function. But once I return the function as a function here, it's going to return not a number, because actually this is a function and not a number. If we pass values into the function, it's going to do the work of that function because of this return value here. And this is because 5 plus 8 is going to give us, 5 plus 3 is going to give us 8. I just hope this is not too complicated, but we can do some simple things, simple tasks with this. Now let's do a simple task with this. I'm going to use this function to also introduce the conditional statements. So the conditional statements are the if and else statements, which we use to make decisions on what to do if something is true or false. So let's take, for example, we want to validate that someone is 18. Once the person is 18, we can show the content of our website to them, but if they are less than 18, we block them from accessing the content of the website. So let's do something like this. If, and then the condition is going to be in this bracket, and then the code that we want to do if the condition is true. So condition will be here, condition will be here, and code will be here. So what is happening here is that when this particular condition here is true, we will run this code. But if the code is false, we will run this code. Okay, so if condition here is true, this code will run. But if condition here is false, this code will run. All right, let's try it out. Let's try it out. So let's have a variable called age. Let age be 34, or rather, let's receive it from the user. So to receive an input with JavaScript, we use prompt. And let's say, write your age here. Okay, so we want to collect the person's age here, and once we collect the person's age here, we store this age here. And when we store this age here, we now use this age to check this condition, and then if the condition is true, we run this particular code, but else we run this code. Now, one thing you should know is that when you are returning something from the user, it normally comes in form of a string. So the best thing to do is to make sure that you wrap everything in int, so that everything becomes an integer value when coming in. So when you are receiving it as a string. So when you receive the string, you now convert the string to integer because you want to use it to conduct a mathematical conditioning. Now, on the condition, we can say if age is greater than or equal to 18. So because we want to see from 18 years and above, if age is greater than or equal to 18, would you welcome the person? So let's welcome the person with document dot write welcome to our website. You are eligible to view our content. Okay, So when the person's age is from 18 and above, we tell them, welcome to our website. You are eligible to view our content. But else, we can also tell them document.write document.write sorry, you are not eligible to view our content. All right, so this is what we have. Let's run this code, and it says write your age here. So let's write an age that is less than 18. So this person is 12 years, and it says, sorry, you are not eligible to view our content. So this is what we use the if and else statement to do. We use it for conditioning, telling the computer what to do when something is true or false. Okay, so let's refresh again and put like 23 years and see what will happen. It says, welcome to our website. You are eligible to view our content. So this is what we can use to make decisions. We use it to make decisions. Now this can be embedded into a function. So let's see how this can be embedded into a function. So let's create a function, and let's call this function test. So you can call a function any name of your choice. And then we can take all these conditions and put it inside this function because we don't want it to run all the time. So let's refresh. You can see nothing is happening if we are refreshing. So this is the essence of having a function. Because if you had noticed before now, once we refresh, this prompt is going to immediately activate itself. But since it is now embedded in a function, it will not run until this function is called. So let's call the function. So the name of the function is test. Let's call the function test, and you can see automatically the function performs its duty. So let's put 56. Sorry, let's put 56 as our age. And you can see, welcome to our website. You are eligible to view our content. So this is how we can make decision with a function. Now I can do this, I can make this thing more interactive in the website. For instance, let's say the person comes in to the website. So let's have something like H1 with, I'm going to remove that function so that it doesn't play out again. All right, so let's come to our HTML. Let's say we have this, click the button to see eligibility. So click the button to see eligibility. So we are going to have a button down here. So let's have a button down here. So this button, we say check eligibility. Check eligibility. So this is a button, check eligibility, and if you look at it, once I click on the button, nothing happens because the JavaScript function has not been called. Now I want to call this function only when this button is clicked. So how do I do that? I am going to use what we call event listeners. So the event listener I am going to use here is called onClick, because I want anytime the button is clicked, unclicked. So unclicked, when this button is clicked, what do I want to do? I want to run this function test. Okay, so I'll copy the name of this function. When this button is clicked, I want to run this function. Okay, now let's test it out. Click on the button and you see this springs up. So let's put 17 years and click OK, and it says sorry, you are not eligible to view this content. So this is how we can make our page interactive. Okay, this is how we can make our page so interactive, and we can put maybe 34 years and it says welcome to our website, you are eligible to view our content. So this is just what interactivity means. Okay, the reason why I had to show you this is so that you know that these things are embedded into HTML. Every interaction in a website is for the HTML. Even though we are doing everything directly on the JavaScript, we are actually doing it for HTML. Okay, and the last part for the second part of this tutorial is going to be the else if statement. So let's say we want to make decisions like up to 3-4 decisions. Take for instance, we want to accept people that their favorite color is blue, red, green into the website, and then we can reject other people. So we can do this with this. So we already have this this variable called age. So I'll be speaking about this type of variable because we have the scopes, the function scope and the global scope. We'll still talk about that later on. But what I want us to look into is, let's say we want to make a decision, collect a color. So let's change this to color. And we want to look into 3 colors. So if their color is red, blue, and green, we accept them. But if their color is not any of these, we would not accept them. So write your color here. Okay, now let's now have the block of code that we want. So if color is, remember the equality symbol is green, and we want to also look at both small letter and the capital letter. So we can use the logical and color is not actually this, but green, because we know that this green and this green are not the same in JavaScript. Let's use this and ampersand. Then what we are going to do is we say document dot write. Document dot write, your color is green. Okay, we can actually test this thing out to see. So let's use capital letter green this time around, and it says nothing. So if your color is this and color is this, sorry, we are not supposed to use and, but, or, because we are testing either one. We are testing either one. So let's try the capital letter green. Let's try it again. Or rather, let's not do this to be much more complicated. Let's try this out again. Okay, so I've seen why we are having the issue. We still left the pass int here, and everything is being converted to integer. So that's why we are having those challenges. So we have removed it. So what we will do now is let's try the the or again. Or color is green in capital. So let's try this out. Okay. Document.write, your color is green. Okay, so what we have here is we are receiving a prompt, an input from the user, which is going to be stored as color. And we are checking the color. If the color is green, then we print this on the screen, but else if the color is not green, then we print this. So if we try this out and then we use red, it says sorry, not a green color, but we want to do more conditions. So let's try the else if. So let's try the else if. Else if, sorry. So the else if takes also a condition and then its own block of code. It takes its condition and its own block of code. So we also want to test if the color is yellow. And we want to also say this, your color is yellow. And here, instead of saying, sorry, not a green color, we want to make sure that this returns something more much more dynamic. So let's use concatenation here to separate this, and then another concatenation, and we can use color. So let's see what we did. Sorry, not a, so space, whichever color the user puts, and then space color. So not a yellow color, not a red color, not whatever color the user inputs. So that's what we are doing here. So this is going to be much more interactive or dynamic. So let's also do that here. So we can as well concatenate here and have this, and then have the color here. Okay, so this is going to give us whatever color the person inputs. So let's just copy this and put it here, so that we don't hard code anything. So whichever color the person puts is going to give us the exact color. So let's also have one more condition with else if. So I'm going to copy this else if and paste it here. So this time around we are looking for the red color. So we only want to use red color, green color, and yellow color. Any other color is not included. So let's try it out. So refresh this and select a color. So let's use red and press OK, and it says your color is red. Let's try this again. Refresh, and what we have, we can use black. Let's see. It says sorry, not a black color. So this is because black is not included in those ones that we wanted to validate. So remember, what we wanted to validate is green, yellow, and red. So let's try it again, and this time around let's select a color like blue. So you will still see it will say sorry, not blue color. And this is because of the blue here, because we want to make this as dynamic as possible so that we don't hard code. And even we wanted to take any color here and we start writing the name of the color one after the other, it's going to give us problem, as we are going to write a lot of code which is not going to be good for our resources. So but once you use this variable, it returns whatever input the user has imputed into this color. And again, what it also do is that it checks this else if and then if. Once any condition is not met within here, all other ones are going to be regarded as false. So that is what the if, else if, and else statement does. There are other ways that we can still do this conditional statement, like switch case statements, but that will be on the third video of this tutorial. So for this, I am going to end the tutorial here. On our next episode, we are going to be talking about switch case statements, as well as other things that are involved in the basic JavaScript. And by the next lesson, we are going to be building a voting app. So get ready for that. We're going to be building a voting app and a passenger counting app. So it's going to help us to be able to determine the winner of a parliamentary vote. So in the Senate, when they want to pass a bill, they will have to vote on that bill. So you are going to build an application to help them to determine the winner of the vote. Okay, so that's what we are going to be doing in the next episode of this training. So if you have been missing it, then you are missing a lot. If you have not subscribed to this channel, you are missing a lot. Try as much as possible to subscribe. If you have not watched the first video, I will leave the link to the description of the video, or to the video in this video. that you are seeing now. So try as much as possible to subscribe to this channel and hit on the notification bell so that anytime I post a video, you will get notified. At this juncture, I will say goodbye. Take care.